Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and unicorns. I welcome you back to another Pixel Prophecy stream. After last week, I couldn't make it since I was visiting my parents and about, I think, Frank, you've seen the notification that I was about 300 kilometers away and probably would have been too exhausted to stream, which, by the way, was true. I had one Red Bull during the drive, and yeah, I didn't want to have another, so I barely made it. Everything went fine, and yes, here I am. Hello everyone, and thank you everyone for being here. Frank, also congratulations on winning the quiz. I was surprised that you didn't get all the answers correct, and Kersey, I'm sorry that I stole your second place just by answering this one thing about coffee. How are you all doing? How have you been? In Austria here, we're having ups and downs when it comes to the heat and the heat wave. So it cooled off somewhat, which was wonderful. Then right now it's starting to heat up again, but blissfully not as much as it used to be, at least for the time being. So hopefully we're all crossing our fingers that hopefully tomorrow or the day after tomorrow it's going to rain, so that it's not just super hot everywhere again. Okay, thank you, Kersey, for understanding. And Frank says more heat coming here. Yeah, I think this is life now, that we all have to somehow acquaint ourselves. Is this a word? Acquaint ourselves, get acquainted with the heat during the summer. And as a kid, we're already on a tangent where Phil talks about his childhood, which probably might happen again today in one or two occasions. But back then, I remember that the summers weren't as hot here in Austria, and also that there was much more snow during the winter. I was looking through my old songs that I made, and I think in 2003 I made a song that I called December Rain, because it was so weird that it would rain in December, which I think on the 1st or 2nd December where it just rained, and I thought that's weird. And nowadays it feels like the first snow in Austria, when we're lucky, we get maybe in January or February, and then it's probably, unless there's some sort of cold wave, then more or less the winter is just dreadful. But there aren't like feet of snow piling up as there were when I was a kid. But of course this comes with its benefits as well. we have a very small lemon tree now in our garden, because you gotta go with what hand you're dealt. Right, so you've seen probably the notification of what's going to happen today, or at least what the plan is. It's going to be an art stream, because for the past couple of weeks, as you also probably been aware, I've been working on the shiny new Pixel Prophecy website, which already had its soft launch, but which, I mean, when I'm working on it, I just live update the site. So when you're looking at or viewing the site, and sometimes things aren't working, and half a minute later they are working but look weird, this is me when I'm working on the project right now. So yeah, it's still a lot of stuff to be done there, but I'm very, very glad and happy that I finally got around of doing this and using the disappearance of ldjam.com as my starting point. Has anyone heard about why this is, or any updates from Mike? Because I certainly didn't, but probably I have to look into the LD Discord, because probably people there should know if there are any news about this. Anyway, Frank says, this week I figured out how to make my graphics tablet bind to the right monitor so it doesn't confuse me. Oh, I have been there, Frank, and especially if you have more than one monitors, I think, no, even if it starts getting into the weeds of things with graphics tablets, even if you have one monitor, because is it zoomed in? Is this a virtual window where always your stylus pointer moves this virtual window around, but it's stationary? Or what aspect ratio is being used? Is the surface available to the stylus being stretched, or just kept the aspect ratio? And I know what you mean. I'm assuming you're not on Windows, which probably makes things in some regards easier or harder, but it's very cool that you have a graphics tablet. What are you going to use it for? Is it for drawing? Is it for painting? Or is it just because you found it somewhere and want to get, I don't know, creative and see if you can get it to work? Oh, it's Linux and GIMP, of course. Yeah, I think that's a good combination. With graphics tablets, you know, my favorite, the Wacom Intuos 4, and there aren't any drivers for Windows anymore, but the Open Tablet driver really has been a boon for this to work. I mean, it doesn't work, not all features are supported, but I mean, this graphics tablet is probably 15 years old by now, and it's still working. It's the hardware is more or less indestructible, so I probably will keep hanging on to that for probably another 14 years. We will see about this. Oh yes, talking about old hardware, you probably remember this from the last stream. Yeah, I'm still taking photos with this one, but I realized there was with the camera a weird streak sometimes, especially in bright daylight. It feels like there was some tearing going on, and one part of the image was a little bit darker than the other, and you could really see the scan line where this transition happened. Also, there is a slight dent. I'm not sure if it's visible here. Maybe if I tilt it like this, there's this slight dent smack dab in the middle of the screen, and it's a little bit not distracting, just irking me a little. And so I thought, you know what, I had my mid-year bonus, and look at this, what I got. Yeah, that's another Game Boy with a yellow Game Boy Color with another Game Boy camera. So yeah, I got two now, and also what I like is the colors of the Game Boy camera. So I got the red one and the blue one now, and this screen of the one with the blue cover, you can see, maybe you can see it, maybe not, is also scratched, but differently. But I won't complain, because I got them, the camera plus the Game Boy Color, relatively cheap-ish, at least in what people are asking nowadays online. So I can now take 3D stereo photos with my Game Boy camera. Because interestingly, as it turns out, this camera has the same issue as the other camera. Turns out, as I understand it, it has to do with the shutter of the CMOS sensor or something, or it's like, yeah, a little bit like with these tearing artifacts, where it's like where the Game Boy is updating the image when it's not already completely sent, but the other parts, you know probably how tearing works. It's the same thing there with the CMOS sensor, but only when there is a lot of light and it needs to change the frequency when it's transmitted. So it's nothing that I could have done, but the good thing again is now I got one to spare, and you know me, my favorite color is goldenrod, and now I got two goldenrod Game Boys. Yeah, Frank has also a Wacom 1. I got it a while ago because I saw it online and I felt it was affordable. See, that's the thing. It's the same thing with the Game Boys. Of course, the main thing getting this working means I no longer get to blame my tools. It doesn't mean I can suddenly draw. I mean, it helps if you have tools that help you draw. I recall stories from developers and especially graphics artists for Commodore 64 games, or sometimes even Amiga games, where they had, we were drawing with a joystick in D-Paint when we were lucky. When we were unlucky, we had to punch in the numbers, the hex codes. So I think you can still blame your tools. No matter how good they are, you can still blame them, and I mean, I would say just probably experimenting is a lot easier and faster and more fun now. Excellent work, thank you. And Frank also says, time to research how to remove scratches from that sort of plastic. Yeah, I've found something where it's like that you can use for your car, for the paint on your car, where it's like also it's some sort of paste that you put on there and then distribute it with, I don't know, some sort of plastic thing, and the idea is that it fills up all these minute little scratches and yeah, pretty much any roughness that there is, and hopefully then it blends together. But the thing is, this was, at least the one that I found, was only meant for clear paint on cars. And again, this is relatively cheap plastic, so it might be even more affordable or safer to look for existing spare parts essentially for these kinds of old Game Boys, because they're still around, like new Game Boy screens or something. I mean, I'm not hell bent on keeping it 100% 80s or early 90s in this case of the Game Boy Color, but I just want something that works and is pleasing to work with. But yeah, I feel like the older I get, not only do I bump the microphone more often, but also it's the small things on one hand that irritate me a little bit more. On the other hand, certain small things don't irritate me anymore, like when I was younger. It's a weird balance. Probably it's just the focus shifts on what's irritating to you and what isn't. Kersey says 3D Game Boy camera images would be amazing. You know what? Now I probably have to try this out, because I think if you hold them close to each other, and you pretty much get the same eye separate. I mean, isn't this a nice thumbnail? Probably should make this the thumbnail of the video then. But I think you could get relatively, let's say, workable 3D images from it. Now I gotta try it. Thank you, Kersey. Frank also says, right, you can now make stereo photos with the Game Boys and then process the output into 3D models. Oh yeah, this is another thing that I want to try today, that I haven't written into the description, but thank you for reminding me that I actually did wanted to do some photogrammetry today. So maybe we can get this started while I'm still talking, because you can see here these are some of the photos of the model that I want to photogrammetically create today. The only thing is I need to get this off the phone, and usually this for some reason has been a problem with this computer, because at some point it won't connect anymore, or the connection drops, and the only thing of how I can fix this was by restarting essentially the computer, which is not something that I'm very keen to do. Especially not when I'm streaming. So let's make here a new folder before I switch over. I'm just trying to copy now the photo, so you're not missing anything that's happening on my screen right now, I hope. Because it's way too many photos that I have here. Like I said, I visited my parents the other week, and of course I took lots of photos, and because whenever I'm there, my mom always asks me to look through boxes and boxes of my old stuff, which of course I didn't take with me, and she's just doesn't know where to put all the old crap. So yeah, whenever she gets a chance, yeah, she takes it and makes sure that I am at least somewhat, yeah, with my mind with her, because otherwise, when I said, yeah, you can pretty much just throw everything away. Well, no, not that one. Also not the other one. And yeah, long story short, don't throw anything away, Mom. Thank you. So just need to figure out. Okay, these are all the pictures, so they're copying right now. Okay, you're still on full camera. That's good, because again, I don't want to sift through my photos on my phone, because I'm not sure if all are free of privacy concerns. But again, I just want to make sure. Right. So I think everything is copied there, so I feel comfortable switching over. So there we are. So the photos in question, what is the model that I want to photogrammetically recreate today? And it is this beautiful thing here, he said, and then it opened on the wrong screen. So this is another Austrian traditional meal. It's called a Bauernkrapfen, which stands for farmers dough dumpling. Krapfen is hard to translate essentially. So imagine a very fatty donut dough there on the outside. So it's like a donut. It has this ring around it, and in the middle here, in this middle part, that is here slightly out of focus, this part here, This is where the dough is very thin and very crunchy. So you get here these from I think I assume those things just swim in oil, and from just frying it gets crunchy and very thin. And of course, once you eat it here with sugar, after this one I wasn't hungry for many hours. You can throw away that paperclip. Yeah, maybe, but I have some paper clips where I do have somewhat, let's say, nostalgic feelings for the first paper clips that I got in the form of little owls when I was I just came out of kindergarten. Oh, you can't throw those away. Yeah, so yeah, I was my mom would say I was very brave. I threw lots of it away, but some of it I took photos beforehand before throwing it away. For example, like my first songbook that came with one of these very cheap old children's keyboards that only could play one tone at a time. So yeah, I took photos of this, maybe as a reference for someday. Oh, Commander Stitch is here. Whoa, hello Commander Stitch. Perfect timing. So if you're looking for something, if you want to up your game when it comes to this, is the wrong. Sorry, I opened absolutely the wrong software, because the logo looked similar, the icon, and this is what I went for. There we go. So if you want to up your game of Austrian cuisine, then I got something for you, and this is what I was just talking about, the Austrian Bauernkrapfen, so farmers dumpling, dough dumpling, something along those lines, with powdered sugar. And at least I hope you got powdered sugar from the Kaiserschmarrn. But yeah, because the cafe is closing, update available. Well, not now. The cafe is closing after I've been a frequenter of it for 4 years now, and so they're retiring, and they offered some traditional Austrian cuisine. They also handmade their own ice cream, which always was tasty. So I had to make sure that I eat a big cup of ice cream, and also had one of their traditional Austrian sweets or sweet dishes, because they have this sign made by Granny, and the Granny there, she was really working her hands off, it feels like, because we got Apfelstrudel, we got Topfelstrudel, which is like apple strudel, but with cheese. So again, I want to record it for posterity as a 3D model. Also had some time. And No Monero is here. Hey, thank you. And what have I missed? What's the prophecy of today? And Frank already filled you in. We're preserving snacks for posterity in the form of 3D models. Yes, this is what we're going to start today. I think the stream now might be a little bit choppy because of all the processing going on. So hopefully the audio is still working. If the picture isn't working, that's fine. But yeah, it's probably going to take a while. Yeah, looks like someone didn't pay the bills for internet. The good thing is the internet is working, but thank you. No, it's really that because the stream is encoding on my graphics card, and as you can see, well, you cannot see it. My graphics cards and the CPU here, especially the CPU here, is completely occupied. So if the graphics card is occupied, then the stream will be lagging. But that's the fun thing with photogrammetry. It's always the weirdest things. I never make photogrammic things that I might use in a game or something. For the most part, it's just, oh, this food looks nice. You know what? I still got my camera out, so why not just photograph it from every angle while everyone is looking. So we have here 155 photos, and 100 of those have been oriented correctly. And look at this wonderful dumpling here. This looks like it worked like a charm. When I zoom in, those dark blue things, those are the different camera angles, the photos that I shot. So as you can see here, lots of photos. but the sparse point cloud already doesn't look that sparse anymore. So this kind of work, that's neat. So as my usual workflow is, let's call this planar, because I already have another sweet dish created in 3D. I can show you afterwards. So Bauernkrapfen. We got beautiful words in German. Set up sphere. And we call this Bauernkrapfen 1 with just one typo, maybe two typos. Okay, so first thing that I always do is align this thing, because it's super hard to know where things are in 3D space, and because the camera is looking weird. So now that I have here the grid, you can see that, yeah, somehow this doesn't look like it's on the grid. It's just rotated somehow. Nomonera says, okay, audio is not bad, said Cursor. Nomonera says, we have issues with video, but audio, okay, got improved, thankfully. Beautiful. Don't get used to it when I'm doing the 3D reconstruction. I hope that Austrian food didn't turn cold by taking all these shots. It would be a shame. This one actually was served cold, so it was already cold. But of course, when it best tastes fresh when it's taken out of the boiling fat, the boiling oil, and then just where you just let it drip for half a minute on paper towels or something, and when it's still warm, powdered sugar on top of it. It has like 2,000 calories, but it's tasty. Phil's mom is now very hesitant at showing Phil any food when he has a camera. That is the thing. My mom has a very strict no phones policy at the dinner table, and I thought, Mom, I'm 42 now. I think I can make my own decisions, and of course the answer is not in my house. So I didn't take many photos there. Doesn't mean I didn't take no photos there. I snuck some in until I realized that, yeah, the audience was growing, let's say, restless or agitated. So okay, first let's align this model that's just somewhere floating in 3D, is by camera or to graphic projection, and let's view it from the left. So the idea is just that I rotate it somehow where I feel like, yeah, is this on the bottom side? That should be on the bottom now. So then rendering view, camera view from the front. There we go. And okay, you can see there when I rotate this by this roughly, then we're much closer now to have something that is where the ground, in this case the table, is actually flat where it should be sitting. So the table in this restaurant, in this cafe, was never flat, but at least flat enough so that I could take this picture. So then let's have another view from the top. Camera view from, no, view from top. And I mean, doesn't really matter where I put this. I think I have here the edge of the table, which are those dots here. So I think I just want to align them like this. And finally, let's look at it again from the left or from the right. And so yes, we have here the table, and I think again this here is the front of the table. Not a lot there of the platter it was sitting on, but that's fine. So the only thing that I need to do now is just move it down so that it sits there on the grid, which again is not too easy there in orthographic projection. So let's see it like this. Yeah, it's hard to tell whether it's inside the grid or not. Anyway, I think that's good enough. So Nomonera says, okay, looks interesting, right? Again, if you just have enough pictures, usually you're not having a not so bad time with it. But I still haven't figured out the best way of photographing things. As you can see here from my cameras, usually I go in circles around it as flat as possible, and then once from the top, and then maybe do some orbits around it. So when I rotate this, you can see here that I started out with a relatively flat circle around it, and then just went absolutely wild and tried to get any angle from above, and thought I had covered it pretty well. And then of course as always, you noticed when you try to create 3D model, all other parts or that you missed. Like from the back side, it feels like I didn't get as many shots as needed. Anyway, what I can do now is, you know what, let's start here with the 3D model generation, and I will use here just the preview preset, and also for the details I'm just going for preview, so hopefully that the stream won't be lagging too much for too long. Frank says she was already hesitant about many other things. That is true. That is true. But mom, I only need a few photos. 300 or 400 from various angles will be enough. Indeed. Indeed. That's hi, that's me. So here, this is from the first preliminary preview here. And you know what? I think the 3D topology of this weird, beautiful dish is pretty spot on. The dish, the platter it was sitting on is weirdly weird. But maybe this was just because of the preview thing. But still, you know what, I think that's good enough. But what we could try instead of doing a 3D model is we can do Gaussian splatting. Has any of you heard what Gaussian splatting is? You know what, I will use here the default presets while I'm trying to explain what Gaussian splatting is. Also, yeah, with the 300 photos, yeah, my mom's boyfriend or gentleman caller, he always hates it when I take more than, as you said, more like 2 or 3 photos, because yeah, he's still from a generation where he said, yeah, we only need to take 1 photo a year of me. That's plenty. And yeah, especially when you with friends and family, and then of course you take more than 1 photo a year, and this is why he always looks grumpy and like, well, another photo, I don't want it. So yeah, Gaussian splatting, that is spoiler alert, I don't fully understand it myself, but it's also a photogrammetric technique. It's not so much that, so with photogrammetry, what's happening is essentially from all the photos, the algorithm tries to triangulate pretty much any vertex point and then just constructs a surface on top of them. So this is why everything is point cloud. So because those points have 3D coordinates and can somehow be matched in space, and then of course the surface can be constructed. With Gaussian splatting, it's a little bit different because there is no mesh that's being produced. So essentially it's more like you splat cones into space. It's like having, yeah, like paint splats, but in more or less with the depth in 3D. And depending on what angle you look at them, certain spots disappear and others appear. So essentially it's like it's not like you can make a 3D model out of the Gaussian splatting thing. But what it excels at, that has usually been a problem with 3D photogrammetry, is reflections and transparencies. Because with Gaussian splatting, it's not so much where it doesn't really try as much to create a 3D model or of the world. Instead, from matched cameras, it just, yeah, splats pixels, colored pixels into the wild. And for example, if you have reflections, let's say you have a mirror or just a mirrored surface, and from one angle you see a hard blue light or something. Then of course in Gaussian splatting is like when you move to a position that gets very close to where this camera view of the original yeah, where you took the picture where this blue light was visible, the closer you get to this, the more intense this blue splat gets, and the further you move away, then it diminishes. So I'm not sure if we're going to see this here, but it feels much more like a realistic depiction of a 3D model, because again all the reflections and so on remain. So this here now is a dense point cloud, and as the name suggests, it is indeed much denser. So those, I assume would be probably now 2 million points, and the cool thing is that they already have a color now. And from this dense point cloud, So when I zoom out, of course, you can see there it's the shape was recreated much better there, which again is kind of neat, right? So I'm going to save this now. And from this dense point cloud, I can now recreate this. I can do this Gaussian splatting. And I'm not going to say high details. Default should be fine. I was just glad that the stream didn't, lag too much. Right. The automated unicorn agreed with my explanation of Gaussian splatting, so that's good. This Gaussian splatting has been, I think, described in some SIGGRAPH paper like 3 or 4 years or even longer, but now it's nice to see it arrive here in my 3D photogrammetry software. So the question perhaps might be, okay, if you do not get a 3D model out of it, what's it good for? And is always the answer is depends on your needs. For example, if you do visual effects, maybe you do not actually need to have a 3D model. If it just looks like a 3D model or like a 3D scene, because the Gaussian, the splatting is very dense, and as such the resulting image looks very lifelike or very three-dimensional. You do not actually need to create a mesh out of it and texture it and have it, I don't know, and render it with a ray tracer or something, because maybe you do not need to change maybe the lighting, for example. But of course, when you need to do all these things where you photograph, let's say, some sort of rock somewhere off the coast of Ireland, and you need to, or you want to use it in your game where it sits under a red Martian sky or something, then of course you want to have the 3D model that you can place and rotate and so on. But for example, if you're doing visual effects and something should happen in this scene, or you want to add or compose into this scene, from the Gaussian splatting, you have like this wispy 3D. Like I said, it's not a model. It's like paint splats hovering in space, but it's with all the lighting information, all the reflections, and then of course you can move a camera through it, and again with the reflections and how light surfaces and everything, how surfaces react to light and so on. Again, is much more realistic. So I find this fascinating that there is a new way of doing things for photogrammetry. But of course, again, if you want to use it for games, I would still suggest use the good old mesh way. Right, so the stream is still going strong, I feel. And the Gaussian splatting is almost done. It says here it's still got like 34 seconds to go, which means I can talk about my beverage. And again, it's in one of my favorite cups. And my beverage, if I tilt it slightly, oh god, let's hope I'm not spilling anything. You see here, it's dark red. What could this be? Is it one of Phil's traditional red wine parties? No, it's hibiscus tea. I had to look it up what the English name for it was. It's hibiscus, it's Rose of Sharon, never heard it before, or it's rose mellow, also never heard it before. And again, it tastes like your average fruit tea. So a new Gaussian splatting object has been added to the workspace. Are you ready to see how this looks like? And yeah, this is what it looks like. So I can zoom in and I can rotate around it. And what you can see here, for example, is that suddenly now when I rotate around it, it has some sort of depth of field. And this is what I meant before, because the camera, when I was photographing from this angle, oh sorry, moved my mouse pointer too far away. The focus of the camera was here in front. So when I'm closing into the camera's position, I'm also seeing all the artifacts that the camera saw. And in this case, it was this shallow depth of field. Actually, this shouldn't happen, or shouldn't have happened, but it's neat that this is being reproduced here. Frank says, Vampire Phil calls his red drinks hibiscus tea, hoping nobody suspects the truth. That could be possible. So also what I like about this, let's get the grid done, is, like I said, it's like paint splats or light splats in space. And here at the edges, you can really see what I'm talking about it, where everything gets fuzzy. So this is not really a 3D object, just these paint splats here especially there with the edge of the table. They aren't quite sure what's in front, what's in back, or where they are. It's just, yeah, like fuzzy blobs overlaid. But it's good enough that we can see here, we can even peek here underneath the dish here, the platter, just a little bit here. I didn't take photos of it, so it's not quite sure what's happening there. But when I go from this direction, see here even the reflections there on the fork. That's this thing here. They look realistic because, again, it's just interpolating what the camera saw. But again, it feels like it looks like 3D, right? And for most purposes, that's good enough. Again, if you want to really zoom in like this, then of course you get some of the artifacts of this plopping and pop-ins and pop-outs. But of course, if I would have just used it, I don't know what for, but this is a background object like this one here, or I want to make a super cool camera pan around it, for that it would perfectly work. Again, since I'm not, I don't need to change any lighting situation on it, and for this it works kind of well. And again, yeah, the Gaussian splats, especially at the borders, it's really interesting to see this, how the world breaks apart in a more impressionistic, or in that case probably expressionistic fashion. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it, and I'm going to save this now. And of course I can make now a 3D model should I want to, but for now I just wanted to show you this Gaussian splatting approach, because again it's neat. That's all. Kirsty says, looks good though. Yeah, right? Unfortunately, it being Saturday, my attention will soon start diminishing as I have other things to do. It's all good, Frank. I'm just glad that you were here and with your full attention to witness this delicious dish here. Again, Austrian Bauernkrapfen. I think I still haven't fully digested it. This was a couple of days ago. Right, 3D models. I'm fascinated by these kinds of things. So, and all it took was 155 photos that I took over, when was this? 14:16, and I was done at 14:19. So 3 minutes it took me to take 155 photos of this. And yeah, very psychedelic 80s indeed. Cool. Yeah, the other thing, like I said, that or at least I think is even there in the stream description, where it says creative stream making album covers. And this brings us to the new/old/ website of my music making that, as many of you know, if not all of you who are present now, is Seth, where I have here my Faircamp catalog. So Faircamp and Bandcamp, that's what I'm having. So Faircamp, I'm not sure if I ever told about this, but that's pretty neat, because Faircamp is a static website generator, and again, it's fair. I think it's even open source. It's from some German dude. And essentially, you organize all your songs, or if you're a podcast producer, for example, or a label, you can have different artists or different episodes, and you can just organize them how you would in folders, and then use a certain naming convention and certain metadata files, and from that it constructs a website that you can just upload as is onto your web space, and it does the conversions for all different formats and previews, and you can lock downloads, and you can even add links and so on and so forth. And so this is what I'm using here when you go to listen to Seth Carissa's catalog, is the result of that. And you can see here, I already got here for many releases nice looking covers here. They weren't as nice looking as they are now, because I think in 2021 or so I got my Midjourney obsession. So Midjourney, for those who don't know, is a generative AI company or something. Midjourney. I can show you. Beautiful. It's a community-funded research lab of 60 people for building the most beautiful AI models in the world. So essentially, it's LLM image generation. And what I liked about Midjourney was that it you could specify what kind of style, for example, you wanted. I mean, their website here is not very, doesn't look like anything, because at first you could interface with their image generation bot only via Discord. And so that's what I did for my first couple of covers here, and I thought, oh my god, it's so nice. I just type in impressionistic or expressionist 3D cyberpunk thing, and it worked kind of okay. And of course it was the first wave of AI hype and so on, so I thought, you know what, that's kind of neat. And then I realized over the years, of course, there's so much suffering because of this AI thing. And I mean, as an artist, I include myself, because it's not just type in and out pops what you want. Out pops something that looks like nicely shaded or something, but of course it doesn't make a lot of sense. And when you need something, or you have a certain idea of how you want something to look, you're in for a road of pain. As we all know, it's more or less just roll the dice again and hope the prompt is interpreted better this time. So yeah, I used some generative AI artworks, which I didn't like anymore, and so I started doing I'm making new artworks, new cover artworks myself, and you know what, it's been much more fun and more fulfilling, and I'm super happy with how the things turned out. So for example, so I got as you can see here, there is a certain idea to it, and I think in half a year ago, together on stream, we made this cover here, and I want to continue just making more covers in this same style, because again, I'm pretty happy with how they look. And again, I'm so much happier once I started doing them manually and not doing the LLM way. QBrush, thank you, Kersey, for remembering. Yes, for example, one other thing is that I want to unify them in their appearance. Is at some point, I think here with Message Pump, I started doing geometric or shapes on top of it, and the Photogrammetry effect and QBrush. And once I started doing this, I thought, you know what, that's kind of neat. Let's do this for everything. And I didn't do it for everything, so there are some outliers, like here Ferrum Fletus is lacking any sort of shape, so we can look into this. Skyrmion Storm, same thing here, and Al-Hazred also. So again, I want pretty much everything here from the main releases to have some sort of recognizable shape, because you know me, I love when things just look coherent, and so this is what I want to do. And yeah, the gardening adventure, that's again, it had a LLM generated image of a cat with a gardener's head, but of course we have cats around here. And when they turn their back to you, they don't know they're being photographed. So there we go. I could use this, and again, through it, suddenly it's much more personal and more fun. So there's maybe one of the question arises is, hey, when you're not doing this generatively, I mean, there is an awful lot of imagery here, like here this spacesuit. That's probably not something that you just have lying around, right? And for the most part, yes. I think, Kersey, you were there in QBrush. I have my ways of sourcing photos that I use here for my collages, and that is unsplash.com, which is, as far as I know, at least up to this point, human-generated content. I've seen some or two odd-looking things, but they were clearly LLM-generated, so this is not what I'm going to use. But the good thing about Unsplash is, you know what, I can open it up. Again, it's free to use, and the quality is very high. So if it just take this one here, and I can zoom in, you see just the sheer image resolution here is like, what is this, 5,000 something pixels? Does it say here? Not really, just when it was published. And of course you can look at related images, and there are a lot of images there. So again, to me, Unsplash is a high quality stock database. So the only thing is, it has been acquired by Getty Images, I think. So you notice probably here some white spaces here which don't look very pleasing. Another thing that I just realized is Microsoft Copilot. Probably, you know what, I also don't want Microsoft Copilot images here generated. So again, yeah, it's, or SanDisk. I have a thing that this might also be LLM generated. I mean, it says here promoted. So what I'm doing here is I'm running a custom CSS, a CSS override. When I switch it off, you can see here suddenly now there is a neat grid of everything, but certain images, when I switch the override on, just disappear. And the thing why I'm doing this is, so this plus means that is Unsplash plus. So it has here this watermark on top of it, and it means if you want to use this, you gotta pay. And because I'm a very visual person, and of course they know that when you look for something and you find a picture that is just perfect, but you have to pay for it, of course you at least in my case, I don't want to settle for anything less. So to save myself from even seeing things that I might like better, I just made here a CSS override. So everything that is here in the Unsplash plus category, I just hide. I'm not showing anymore, so it's not something that I can grow attached to or something. So this is my my rather ham-fisted way of saving myself from things. But the cool thing here again with Unsplash is you can search by keyword, and this is usually where I find all the things that I need. And of course, some of these photos, I think here the sparks here and the fire, those are from my own photos that, if I still remember them, because I have now over 100,000 photos in my personal and private collection, and not all of them are tagged. And that is usually the problem if you want to find something. I mean, sometimes when I really feel like I'm super bored and I don't know what to do with my time, sometimes I just open up my vast photo catalog and go to, I don't know, 2008 and tag a couple of photos there, because then you realize, oh, I did take pictures of this weird brutalist church somewhere, and okay, here they are, but I never found them because I didn't know when I was there and what camera I had with me, and sometimes not even where photos were taken. So it's always good when you tag things right away. So yeah, again, it's, hi, I'm Phil, I love to structure things and am the archivist. Of course, it says, nice idea for a custom filter, putting power in your own hands. That's it. Again, I'm getting the most mileage out of this browser extension. For those who are interested in how it works is for every site you can have here a browser override, and then essentially you just type the CSS. So when I'm here on Unsplash and open here the style editor, so I figured out that if the figure tag has this class, and again, I don't know what backend they're using, I don't even care. All I know is that at least it's very consistent that all Unsplash pictures, Unsplash Plus pictures have this class associated with it. I switch its opacity to 0 so it doesn't mess up the layout or anything, and then I don't see it. And really, it's essentially it's just one line of CSS, or in this case 4 lines of CSS. But this again saves me. And then of course I can even have here the different styles that I want to edit. For example, here on the Team Debug, that's the debug magazine. And when I want to print my invoices, I don't know what they did with their backend, but it's huge buttons and big sidebars or anything. And now I have here my override where I can just switch on the CSS override and just get something that I can print on one page and doesn't have like huge solids of background color or that sort of thing. So yeah, cool little browser extension. It's for, I'm using a WaterFox now, but it's for Firefox. And the extension is called, as far as I know, CSS Override. Small thing, huge bang for your buck. And while we are here on the topic of browser extensions, one thing that I also came across, and for this I have to go to Amazon. Let's go just to Amazon.com and just click on anything. Let's go here for kitchen appliances, and no, it's not working. Or is it working? No, Knockoff should be on. Filtered 5 on this page. So this browser extension is called Knockoff, and that's pretty cool because it's for Amazon. When you're on Amazon, it filters the listings for all shady suppliers, and also it maps where the suppliers are. For example, again, I thought I would see here something more helpful, but again, it looks kind of cute. Let's go for USB cord, because maybe there's something. Okay, you can see here some things already have been grayed out, and it says here China. So this is with all your search results, it has this little tag, and when it's a little bit shady, or it looks like it's a low production quality, or comes from China or Hong Kong or Taiwan, then it gets grayed out. For example, here this Anchor USB cable, also the one that I'm using. I'm holding it up, but it's still connected, so you don't see it. That is here sourced in the US. And so again, just from looking at it, when you look for something, and you, again, with so many cheap products nowadays, just flooding the listings, again, the extension is called Knockoff Amazon brand filter. And again, it's really a boon. And also sometimes, of course, I'm on the local Amazon, so many products there aren't listed, or they don't know anything about it. I can just, where it says where from, for example, here, where from, I just open it up here in a new tab, and it updated here. So I don't even have to look at the tab, because the tab that opens when I click here is just the seller tab. And because there are so many sellers opening up new accounts, not everything is indexed already. So I just open it up. Same thing here, where it says where from. I open it up in a different tab, and then it updates where the seller is from. Again, very, very cool. And also, here it tells you on this, when something is grayed out, it tells you why. Most of the time it says here no brand, or ET goods. Yes, suspected brand, unrecognized brand name, or other is like, yeah, it's all caps, or an unpronounceable name or something, or a known like this one here. What does it say here? Likely pseudo brand, few vowels, un-English, and so on. So again, kind of cool, because if you look at this and you don't know that, you wouldn't expect that all of these products here on this page are from China, and apparently low value. I mean, the only thing is they're from, $11 for this power strip there. I mean, it's not dirt cheap, but relatively cheap for what it is. And again, especially with electronics from Chinese origin, I mean, on one hand, it feels like it's a little bit stereotypical to say, yeah, all low quality electronics come from China. But I mean, the chance is very high that when you buy something very cheap from Amazon and it's from China, especially for electronics, I wouldn't buy a charger or even power cables or anything from China, because of course they have to still make a profit, and they get this from using from saving on quality. So yeah, in my case, I always like, especially for things that draw power or batteries or that sort of thing. I mean, those are all fire hazards, and again, I don't want to invite this into my home. Anyway, I went straight far off topic. So again, what we want to do today is make some more nice cover artworks, and I'm using Unsplash there for my sources, and good old trusty Photoshop, which I probably will curse about, but I try not to, because I think everyone got their good helping of Phil rants about Adobe, and again, I try to keep it a little bit down this time. Right. So the thing here with my image covers is that, you know me, I sort and select everything, and chances are that I know that I have pretty much anything that I ever produced, unless of course it was dated to 2003 or earlier, where I had some of the worst hard drive crashes in my life. But pretty much I got everything. The only thing is to find everything that I got. So I've grown better at structuring my archives. So this is why we probably should find all the things that I already did, all the cover artworks. And it's probably here in song tags, and then it's sorted not by a date when I made this, but by date of the song. So this, what did I want? The Ferrum Fletus is from 2012. It's an old song, but a good one. So we have here 2012, and these are all for the other songs. So again, I've been making song covers and song tags. Oh look, there's Called This Wanderer, but that's actually a picture there of my late grandpa as he's descending the stairs in his old house. The house also doesn't exist anymore. Hashtag sad. So yeah, that's my gramps. Anyway, and they're in Ferrum Fletus. So this was the first version, which just had this fire sparks, and this is the new version. You can see here the fire didn't change. I just added here this ruin to it. And so like I said, to make it coherent with all the other covers, I want to add some sort of shape to it, and that should not be too hard. just something easy for starters. By the way, is there music playing in the background? Or yes, there is music playing. All good, because I don't want you to get bored just from hearing me talk. So first question is, what kind of geometric shape do we want? And I have here this obsession with circles, because yeah, it's just too neat having a circle for everything. The problem is when I'm not using circles, like here I'm using squares, it looks very rigid and very geometrical, and it looks like a border, like here with Paper Trail where you can see it, or here even with Pentis in game, where I try to somehow make it a bit more interesting, but it still looks a little bit bland. So if I can avoid it, I don't want to use squares. The only way of using rectangles here is when I use them here in this cross shape fashion, which I only did for this one song. I don't know why I did it for, or what it actually meant to depict. It's just something abstract with a perspective, which is neat, but not very communicating, not a lot. And I really like having these upside down triangles, because I feel like, yeah, it's as with unstable, if you remember my post-mortem, I just love the idea of this super unstable shape, because it gives it so much tension. I don't know. Vice versa, having here this pyramid shape gives it a lot of stability, but at least it's not as boring as a square might be. And then having here this square on one of its corners, it feels also it could be a little bit too much or too busy, but maybe because there is not that much happening here in this one, let's try and go with one of these shapes. So put it at 45 degrees and align it to the center of the canvas. Will you align it to the center of the canvas, please? And Mr. Troy is here. Thank you for subscribing for 41 months, Mr. Troy. That is amazing. Thank you so much. I raise my red tea in your honor. Thank you so much for dropping by and subscribing and making it known for the insane amount of years by now you support me. Thank you so much. That is very red tea. So to catch you up on what's going on, before we made a 3D model out of something, an traditional Austrian sweet dish that I photographed. So we have a Gaussian Splatting model of it, and right now I want to rework some of my song covers to be a little bit more consistent. So everything has here geometric shapes and some cutout happening here with geometric shapes, but not all of them. Like here, this Fletum Ferrus song here, or the other one is the Skyrmion storm. I just want to make them a little bit more coherent with the rest, and then maybe work on a completely new audio graphic, I wanted to say, a song cover. So that's the idea for today. And Mr. Troy says, I wanted you all to know I'm here. Now back to being quiet. Thank you for making yourself heard. We have heard you. And yeah, as I always say, if any of you is just in lurk mode and not feeling like chatting or interacting with, or not even saying hi or saying goodbye when they drop out, you know what? I'm fine with that. I know how it goes, especially with streaming, and when things happen and you just gotta hop off. So don't bother. It's I understand, it's all good. No worries, no worries. And Vonox NL is here. Hello Phil, thank you for dropping by or for making yourself known. How's the weather in, I assume, Netherlands? So, okay, how to make this more interesting now that I have here a cutout, but you don't see the cutout. One idea probably would be to just... Oh, this was wrong. Did I just delete what I just made? Yes, I did not delete the layer mask, I deleted everything. Delete layer mask, so there we go. So one idea would be just to stick something in there and suddenly it already has something going on, which I kind of... already kind of like, or just you know what, this might already be it. Doesn't really have to be that complex or that complicated, but it's just in this case it's just the adjustment layer that's inside this group. Or if we just put here the spark here back into the group and the adjustment layer of it, but everything around it we keep. Okay, let's refer back to the original artwork. I'm not sure. I mean, I really like that the spark is this large. So maybe we can find something else that we put inside there. Okay, 28 degrees, too hot. Yeah, I feel you. Again, also today, Austria, we had 30 degrees. And Connie and I both said, you know what, it's not that hot. And this means, yeah, we already adjusted ourselves to the temperature. We even went hiking for 2 hours today. It was hot. Call me crazy, but I'm longing for winter. I'm not calling you crazy. I've had this conversation recently with someone also in this house. And we said, you know what, fall is a pretty nice season. So maybe we will get lucky at some point and it might be fall again. So right, I said, you know what, let's find some more graphics that we can work with, or just some references we can mine. And for this I go to almighty unsplash.com and then just Google for something. I mean, search for something, and I want something abstract. I want something that's in tune with the song. So you know what, maybe clouds. I'm always a fan of clouds, and let's say storm clouds, because drama, baby, drama. So there, as you can see, again, I like the quality of Unsplash that you get with stock photos. Usually when you have, I don't know, like public domain stock photos, the quality is very wide, at least the range of quality, and especially the top end is, yeah, very sparse. So which one? Which one? Maybe this one. Let's try here. This one. Let's see how large it is. So I just hit download free, and I get here the attribution. And since I'm always saving it when I'm downloading it here on my desktop, it already shows up, and so I still have the original creator's name there, just in case I should need it when someone says, hey, you know what, who made this this photo or this artwork, or which persons were involved in it, and so I have their names. So one thing that I realize is now that's pretty grainy. Most photographers there either don't mind their pictures being grainy, or they add artificial film grain on top of it, which I'm not too fond of because it just balloons in the image size. So I'm trying here now with my denoising plugin to get rid of some of it at least. And so when I show you a before and after there, with the noise and without the noise, it's not losing that much detail, and of course it's much cleaner. So let's bring this over here and let's put it underneath here. So it's a little bit larger, as you can see, than the rest. So let's scale this down and let's see how we can make this a bit more interesting. So on one hand, we could change the blending mode. I mean, right now the blending mode was just normal, which means it blocks everything that's underneath it. Let's make this a bit bigger. So I'm trying now different blending modes by just hovering over it. And lighten, screen, color dodge. I mean, this one makes it overlay, or soft light makes it very dramatic. But maybe it's a little bit too dark. Maybe I just want it to happen outside of our rotated square. So for this, let me just duplicate the group that we had and then change in this group. I need another shape there, and so I have here the negative shape of this. So I got here in my layer channels, I got here for the clouds, the white is where it's being affected and the dark gray is where it's being transparent. So the clouds are outside this lozenge, or what's it called, and the sparks are inside of it. So this is what it looks now. So you know what, let's change this here and change the blending mode. Just play around with the blending mode, but the inside shape is not changing at all. So, and I'm just playing around here with blending modes and see which looks interesting. And I would say again, maybe overlay makes it interesting. So, but I also want to, yeah, the brightness is not quite there how I want it to be. So I add an adjustment layer that only happens that only affects what is inside this group 1. And this is something here, let's delete this layer mask. This is something with Photoshop that was that I realized that was not that easy to understand, because usually when you have here, so let's we're inside here this group and I have here my adjustment layer, and when I'm changing this, it changes everything that's underneath it. Why doesn't it change everything? Oh yes, now it changes everything that's underneath it, and most of the time that's not what I want. And to change this, I already showed you, so if anyone needs this, by default when you create a group, it's set to pass through, which does exactly what happens, what it says it does. So I have here this curves effect, and it passes through anything that's underneath it outside of its own group. If I want to constrain it to its own group, I switch here the group from pass through to normal or whatever other blending mode that I want. In our case it was overlay. So this is just something that is very Photoshop specific. So, and when I change it now, nothing happens, because here in this group, this is layer 6 is in this group and nothing else is here in this group. So when I switch it back on, then only layer 6 is being affected. So now I'm just trying to make the shape readable. This is also something that I, as a visual artist, I'm always very keen about, is to have shapes at small sizes very legible. And I mean, at small sizes, I mean, when you look at here at the navigator here, this thumbnail preview, I mean, here you can see that what the physical shape is, but when I zoom out, it's not really that clear. And this means it makes it a little bit muddy. In sign language, or in shape language, not sign language, that's something different, in shape language. So again, how to do this? I need to add up the contrast between inside and outside. So this is usually what I try to do here, is when I'm working, that either the inside is dark or the outside of the shape is dark. And again, I want this to be a bit dark and foreboding, but yeah, it's not really working when I make here the outside a little bit too bright compared. So instead I do the opposite. Let's see if I can make the inside a bit brighter, like this, and decrease here the outside value. And suddenly you can see here in this navigator, it's very clear what this shape is that's here on the center. And now I just play around with it and see if I can make this distinction even more clearer without having it clip. Clip is, as you can see here, when something cannot go any brighter. And for one thing, you can see it here when these spark trails, when I go here to bright, they just mix here with the background and everything is just bright. And I love to have some sort of texture or definition in both the darkest and the brightest parts of an image. Again, this being a colorist, this is something that I'm very keen on, so that I'm not losing any information. I'm just compressing it at the top or at the low end, but not losing it outright. So one thing again here with this shape, here on the left side it works flawlessly, but there on the right side, especially here in this part, it's a little bit hard to tell what is foreground or what is part of this shape. So for this, let's see where we are here with this. Oh, this makes it even darker. Interesting. So that there on the outside I manually change certain the appearance of brightness. So for example, I just go in here where there is hardly any difference between those two different colors, and then I just draw here with a very big soft brush just on top of it. But of course it should only be there either in the foreground or the background, so I move it, let's say, into this group. So now only this part here is affected, and once I move it underneath, then it's gone. But of course, from what I can see here, this is set to overlay. This group is set to overlay, so I cannot get it as bright as I want to be or want it to be. So yeah, just duplicate the group. And so I have it here on its own group, and then I can change the group from overlay to, let's say, screen or color dodge or something like this. And then again, toy around. One thing that you've noticed and that I'm always emphasizing is to have some sort of this thumbnail view. In this case, I have here this navigator open, because it's when you look at something, when you squint with your eyes and you still know, okay, what is important, is your eye drawn to certain parts of the image or not. It's same thing there with the thumbnail preview. It's much easier to make a good image if you can also, when it's very small, you can really see the important parts of it, or when it looks balanced. So to hopefully make this shape a bit clearer here, I try to make it bright enough that it doesn't look like wrong, but also that it defines the shape better here. And I like how it looks here, that it feels like there's this glow, and also the contrast is good here. But when I look at this here on small, because here the brightness in the sky is also pretty bright, it doesn't really feel that legible, that separated from each other. So for this, I do the opposite and make here this sky a bit darker, and add here some more borders, and then just play around with it and see if this made things better or worse. And I feel like it just made them worse. So let's overdo it, and I'm going to Gaussian blur everything. And this Gaussian blurring, and just to make the silhouette stand better out, is exactly what we did here, if you remember, here with QBrush, so that it really is very clear and legible against the background if it needs to be. So I mean, I'm still not quite happy with how it looks. So instead of making the background darker, what if I make this part here in the foreground darker inside of this shape? Because that's the other way around. I mean, it's all very binary. If it's too dark, make it brighter. If it's bright, make it darker. Because I'm not bothering here, or at least I don't have colors, specific colors here as part of my shape language. because in the end everything here gets with a gradient map, gets its color with a gradient map. So essentially I'm just doing a black and white image. So this is why I can just focus on making it brighter or darker. So okay, I want to make this here a little bit brighter. So I'm just dotting here things and then changing the blending mode to, let's say, color dodge. And you see here this color dodge makes things brighter. And I'm going to blur it now even further so that you don't see my mouse splotches there. And see if I can find a good balance, something like this perhaps. So yeah, the shape here looks very well defined. Maybe here at the bottom, not as much here, this, but that's about it. I think we got it now. That's pretty neat. So one thing I realized I disabled was here this overlay over everything, and I'm not sure what this was. It looks like to be some sort of concrete, but maybe I can find, I'm pretty sure even that I can find better concrete. So the other thing is here, maybe the flames and the sparks, maybe they're a little bit too bright for me. Is this here? Yes. So I just bring up the overall darkness, the overall shadows, and yeah, just tweak here the upper part there of the curve. So again, this is how I do, like in this case, like most of my image manipulations is just selectively adjusting these lightness curves, and always having an eye on how it looks here in this navigator, in this thumbnail preview. So I'm saving it now, because it's always good to save things. And now I'm seeing, okay, for example, what I don't need and maybe I can throw out. For example, here, this in the background, this doesn't do a lot. I just throw it away. Does this change things? Yes. Okay, that's set to pass through, not path through. So probably want to keep this. Okay, this made it here a bit darker, this little patch. You know what? Now I don't need it anymore, and actually it looks here better in the small image when this part is bright again. And yeah, this was our background image. So we're going to keep this naturally. So, and again, just playing here with the different curves and seeing, should I change things in some points or not. Yeah, I mean, what I don't like that this looks here very cloudy, this brightening here. So instead of doing that, because it was just, yeah, painted there with the Photoshop standard brush, very soft edges, and then just blurred. First, let me have a sip of my tea. And then find some clutter or some lens. What's the word? Artifacts to place on top. So again, I love to go to Unsplash and then just hit abstract and light. And maybe there is something, probably something like this that we can already use. Or this one here, blurry image of a rainbow prism. Yeah, again, the rainbow probably won't carry over. I just need something. And you know, you see here, for example, this rain of light. You can see it here in the background of Knockoff effect. And the other thing that you can see is on this page here is this explosion here. That is what you see here on the inside. So again, yeah, I've been a long time user there of Unsplash. So right, let's use this prism image there. Bring it to Photoshop, copy, and we already got this, and I'm pasting it here and switch its blending mode from normal to something else. Lighten, screen, color dodge. I think screen should be fine. And essentially we have the same effect as before, that it just brightens these portions here, but it looks, like I said, a little bit more organic than what we had with just using the Photoshop brush. Maybe the opacity is a bit too strong. Or maybe I even want more texture, because again, I didn't like how cloudy this felt, and now we have here the same thing. See, this is the new one, and this is what I had before. This was a bit splotchy, but it's already cloudy. So I think if I want to keep this, I need something there with a little bit more texture or structure to it. Let's see. How about this one? This also abstract reflection. Let's go with this one and see how it works. A big part of this is just experimenting and seeing how things work, and then you paste something and it already looks great just from plopping it in there. Let's make this not as wide, a bit more constrained, like this. Change its blending mode to screen. And now I feel like now it has too much structure or texture. I'm very hard to please. I'm one of those people who say, I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. But having here, I mean, this one now looks like there is fire, stylized fire here from the bottom. And it already here, again, I'm always confirming what I do here in the thumbnail view, and already here it looks like it's separating. Again, what the important part is, or what the actual its job is of this layer, is to separate here this shape better from the background. When it's off, you hardly see it, that this is this shape, and when it's on, you really see where it's defined here. Maybe I can even combine this with this lens blur that we had. If I make it a bit smaller. Yeah, maybe this is too bright, but yeah, the smaller I make it, the more structure it gets. And now it feels like there is some sort of sunlight shining through from somewhere. The only thing is, I mean, I really like how it looks here in this big picture. But the downside is here in the small thumbnail, you have no idea what you're looking at. I mean, if you when you don't see that those are windows and those is some I don't know, some rebar or something. Here in the small image, all you see here is this dark blob there in the middle. And you know what? Maybe we can emphasize this and play with it and have something on top of it that it reads more interesting. Interestingly, I think it's an adverb. So yeah, what else can we put there? What makes sense? I don't know. Let's go here and call dilapidated. And if I typed it correct, maybe we can find something. Or what's always good is face. Let's go with shadow. Because see, this is much more interesting. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can use here this half silhouette there and really lean into it. So I just need to find this. Oh, that's huge. Of course, says you could take a pic like that yourself too. Exactly, that is the thing. Even when you have not that interesting photos taken yourself, you can actually just use pictures. I mean, the one there in which one was it? The melatonin tone in this one here. That's me. I photographed this 1 foot removed from here, where I was just photographing myself with the good camera, just looking down from the light, what's it called, the desk lamp. That's the thing. So yeah, exactly, that's the funny thing is you can insert yourself pretty easily. So does this read here, or does it make it even more cluttered? Let's remove all these things here. Let's remove even the sparks. And when I make this a bit bigger, you know what? That looks pretty neat. That looks pretty good. I mean, and now I could, you know what? Let's make this a picture. Let's make this even more about me, where yeah, I can totally stage this picture now, essentially, and then have the sole copyright over it. Okay, so how to do this? Let me switch over to the big camera, and so here on this side I have my desk lamp, which is going to be like one of my main light sources when I can't be bothered to get up and do anything else. So for this to work, first, can I set the camera to tracking? No, I cannot, because I disabled it. Right, so just so that you can follow along, I will move over now to the desk lamp, where I can take the pictures when I hopefully can move the camera around. Is it? Yes, it's moving. It's just in the wrong direction. So here we go. That is my desk lamp, and that's Void Blob sitting on the chair here. Okay, let's see how I can do this with the microphone, and let me just bring the microphone over then. Perfectly safe. You see the dramatic lighting already. So to stage this image or this photo, I need to have this more or less on top of me. The only thing is the other lamps here are polluting what I'm doing, so I'm going to switch those off right now. So it's going to be a very moody stream now. Okay, see, much better. And then there's just one more light. There we go. So I'm just trying to recreate more or less this lighting situation and make sure that I don't get the microphone there in between. But okay, let's go here with like 50 millimeters and then just looking like this. Just take a couple more, because I think I need to be directly underneath it, like so. Let's see. No, this was too close. There we go. Nope. The good thing is that I don't need to wait for the film to be developed to see whether it works or not. Okay, probably I'm too close to the light source, so I'm kneeling down, and now really the microphone is in the way. Let's check. Ah, you know what? This could work. I think I found one that could work. Maybe. Yeah. It's also one that I can send my mom. Right, okay, let's restage the setup. Good. There we are. And it is exactly this more or less hands-on approach to my productions when I need a picture of something or a photo that I can that I don't even have to leave anything here. I just utilize what I got here. So let me, before I switch over, let me just find the right photo there. Just copying them over as raw. So these are the photos that we just took. So I think this one is the most usable, or maybe that one with the eyes closed. But again, it's always nice to have a good camera, because again, it looks much better than your average phone photo. Because again, I mean, all my wrinkles are very clearly visible. But I feel like the quality is just much better than whatever a phone now interpolates. Kirsty says, exclusive white light fill stream. Indeed, light from the side, like in the image. So I think, oh yes, that I completely forgot, that the that light should actually come from the side and not just completely from the top. But you know what? Let's try it, and maybe I can use it. Maybe I can use it somehow. So there we go. Beautiful hair, Phil. Beautiful hair. So also, what is going on here? What is this? Maybe we need to retouch this. Anyway, let's import this, but first make sure that there is some lens correction going on. Maybe bring in some highlights just in case we need them. So again, because I will be manipulating this photo in Photoshop anyway, I just want to have it very neutral. So this is also why I'm doing here the white balance and things like this. And what is important for me is that I open it at 16 bits precision, so that I don't get any banding or that sort of thing. So, okay, the first thing that irks me here is whatever is going on here with the hair. So I'm just going to paint it out. Wrong painting tool. And for those who want to follow, I'm using here the healing brush, as it's called. So it's a bit like the stamp tool, but it also blends it here with the background. So yeah, it's a little bit softer, and especially when you have things like I don't know, gradients or something, it blends the colors a bit better. See, it's gone when we compare it to open, and bam, it's gone. Retouch however looks best. That's the thing. That's always the thing. So let's see, anything else that I want to retouch here? Some weird little hair things. I don't know what this is. This is something that needs to go because it's irritating. There are some little skin flakes, just tiny things that, especially when you have this harsh lighting, that really comes out. So yeah, I think that's good enough. Right, then let's take the entire image and paste it. And yeah, it's huge. Hi, it's me. And make a smart object out of it. And now let's see what we can do with it. So it needs more contrast. It needs more contrast, of course. So here we have our sinister metal cover. And let's play again with the different blending modes, and I think screen or something could be fine. Because again, what I always like is when at certain distances images look differently. For example, when you're this close, you wouldn't even see that there's a face in there, but there in the thumbnail suddenly it's very obvious. I mean, especially here with the nose really is a telltale sign that this might be a face or something. Make this larger. Or it's just the eyes and not my smirk. Kersey says, I thought the dark one on side looked nice too, could darken in edit rather than taking a new pic. Yeah, because this one is clearly there. It looks like there is maybe sun coming through a window or something, and this is really the middle part of the window that's blocking it. Of course, it's always best when you have... Let's go with this one here. But this one is... Yeah, this looks like an accident, because when I increase the contrast, it doesn't look that much like a face anymore. So of course it would be best if I can somehow do this here in post, of course, but this always means that it's never going to look real. So you know me, usually with fill it means like 90% of the time is I mean how hard can it be to just redo it again. So let's go. What did I want to say? Not color burn, linear burn. So I can at least somehow attenuate how it looks like this. So maybe we can cheat our way around this. So close and save this layer. Oh no, wrong. Still have the tool selected there. So here we only got half the face then. Oh, I'm moving the moving the entire shape and not just the face. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of neat. That actually works. Make it a bit bigger the face. So let's test some more blending modes. This linear dodge looks kinda interesting. Lighter color. This I like because again you wouldn't see it right away that it's a face, but it is. So you know what? Kinda cool. So right. Let's see what other effects that I still had here we can switch back on. Let's have this one here at the bottom. Again, to hint at the actual shape. Maybe if I rotate this. Something like this. Cool. And the sparks back in. Almost like the building silhouette is a mask on the face now. Exactly. That's usually the most fun, is when you just move layers around with different blending modes and suddenly things feel like, oh, they connect, or this looks like it appears to be a part of that or not. So yeah, I'm always a big fan of these kinds of epiphanies or things that just arise out of playing around with it. By the way, cheers. I should hydrate more. So yeah, love the sparks. Again, they don't need to be that bright, but of course they muddle a little bit here this impression of what's going on here. But at the same time, they really help. Again, they help define this shape. Oh, automated unicorn. Yes, I just had a sip of water. Thank you. Or what if the sparks and everything sits on top of everything? Then the shape doesn't really come off or carry across. But again, it looks very cool. Again, here with face, building, and so on. So maybe I can make this work somehow. What if here the outside is even brighter, darker? Okay, I can't get it even darker that it still reads. Can I make here the building brighter? Yes, but then the face doesn't appear like it's a face anymore. I mean, I wanted abstract, but not a complete mess. And I have a feeling that maybe I've already piled on a little bit too much. So I don't want to kill my darling, and my darling is this spark effect there on top, because I liked how we had it here with the first version of this. But I mean, just looking at it right now, I mean, this looks like this is a very sinister building, right? So I like how clean this is, and also how it feels like, yeah, this is a face half torn off or something. I kinda like this. And let's see what else I can add without muddling it up too much. Like this one here, we will never need. By the way, I should save this as a new version then, and not overriding the previous version. So yeah, this was the very first version of this. So again, this was just a picture of, yeah, a log, a fire log, I think, just a long time exposure. And this was again from 2008, 2009, something around this time, maybe even earlier. So this is how long I keep my pictures around. So again, almost there. I feel almost there. There is something maybe on this side that needs something. You know what? Unsplash to the rescue. Where is Unsplash? I have so many windows open. Oh, there we go. So, and let's go with, you know what? Smoke. Let's go with smoke. Maybe we have here something that we can put in there. Yeah, this one looks, like I said, I love abstract imagery that I can just pile on. So let's paste it here. And try different blending modes. Too much, too little? Or do we want to have it here just in the background? Because when it's here in the background, again, this upper edge suddenly becomes legible just because the smoke here is cut off. The only thing here is the smoke down here. I don't like how it looks. So you know what? Let's try things where maybe I can just warp the smoke somehow. So for this, let's go filter. Where do we have it? Or was it edit puppet warp? For those who don't know, that's pretty good when you want to warp certain things in place. You use here the image. Was it the image? No, it was edit puppet warp. So puppet warp means the entire image now is composed of these little facets, or essentially it's like polygons, and you can just, when you click somewhere, you can stick a pin in, literally, and when you have some pins sticked in, again, it's like when you pin a cloth to a pin board. I put some pins in, and now I can move here one pin, and you can see all the other pins. They are, yeah, like if you literally put a pin in, don't move, but everything that is between, of course, that you can move accordingly, or just warp in a different directions. And in contrast to the warp tool or the liquify tool that was a staple of Photoshop for years prior, this one is not so much that you're not smearing the image, but it's more like, as you can see here, you're really deforming it, and you can rotate certain sections much easier when you're doing like this. Of course, I must not overdo it. Let's go with this. So if I switch this on or off, it looked better before. It really did look better before. So again, what if I put it inside? without the warp. Okay, so the purpose of the smoke was to make this shape very, very defined. But if I position the smoke strategically, maybe I can have it, because it's being cut off on both the bottom and the top. I can have also to define this shape here a little bit better. So the only part where I don't feel that this shape is defined is here at the left corner, and that I can just paint. Blur, Gaussian blur, let's make it soft, like if you're on the other side, and I even say color dodge. Cool! You know what? I think that's it. Now let me just play here with the lightness, and then delete everything that's not used anymore. Like, oh, the original sparks. I keep the layer in, but just have it deactivated, because it's so hard to kill your darlings. So what I'm doing here in the smoke is, you can see here the darkest part is not actually black, but it's dark blue. And the reason for this is, so when I close this, is that you can see here this edge here, and this is because the image of the smoke is being cut off, and it's visible because it's not blending against dark, but it's blending against here this gray. So if I move here with the histogram up, you can see it here in the navigator, in the thumbnail below what's happening here. So I just wanted to move it up here, that I'm not cutting anything off, so just that the background is now here dark and not, so really black and not dark blue, and which should have it here. It's still a little bit of it is here. Maybe I need to be a little bit, to cut it off, perhaps just a little bit, like so. So going back, and now it's gone, but we have here a different edge here. Oh, that's curious. Where does this one come from? Okay, it's from this image here, because yeah, you see I rotated it and such, and it's also a bit noisy. You know what? Let's again denoise it. Build profile. Let's preview it. Yes. Because I mean it's blurry anyway, so we can also already denoise it. So oh yes, I want the background to be black, and yeah, I think what we're seeing here is, oh, there's even some sort of speck there. Just painting over it. And what we're seeing is this part here where it's being cut off, where it's not transitioning into black, but just here this dark blue. So again, doing the same thing here, just cutting it off. Again, I don't want to cut it off too much if I can help it. Yeah, I might have to. Or maybe I just rotate the image around. Maybe that will help. If I rotate it like so. Again, the purpose of the image is to have here the edge legible. And yeah, I don't think it's going to work. It still needs to be this softer part. But I think, yeah, you don't see the edge anymore. Okay, that's good. So only here it blends too much here. Same thing with the foreground. So again, painting on here some things. Why don't I see this? Do I need to make it a bit brighter even? Oh yes, it wasn't bright enough. So blur. Very, very white blur, and then I decrease the opacity, so just that the shape looks good. Same thing here again. Cool. And you know what? With that, I think I like this better than what we had before. Maybe the smoke is a bit too pronounced. So if I turn here the opacity down. So what is the brightest part in this image? And I think it's here the reflection there on the forehead and the nose. Beautiful. Or do we want actually really the smoke to be the brightest part? Or do we want it to be just here, this more or less a texture there? You know what? I think it needs to be a little bit brighter. And let's save for once. And add here curves on top of everything. If I want to give it a bit more contrast or less contrast. If I give it... I mean, this looks super cool and moody, but especially if you watch this or look at this on a phone, you hardly see anything and it looks like, I don't know, a Dracula movie or something. It's too dark. It's too dark. If I make it a bit more contrasty, well then the legibility suffers, because here the clouds suddenly become too bright or exactly the same lightness as this edge here that I worked so hard to create. So where does this come from? I think here, yes. If I make here the clouds slightly darker. Yeah, I think this works. Cool. And before I destroy it again, let's just save this and take out all the unnecessary things, like here this layer mask, because it's just all white and I'm not using it. This is usually what I do. I just remove everything that's not used unless there's a good reason. In this case, it's a sentimental reason that I want to keep here these sparks in there. But you know what? I think it looks better without the sparks. Always kill your darlings. So yeah, this is just a glimpse into my thinking, what goes into when I'm making one of these covers. So, and you know what? I think we can export it. One thing that I just realized, I had here the composition in 8-bit per pixel, which this might explain some of the banding issues that we're having. Thank you, Kersey. So when I switch this over to 16-bit, the processing should happen with double the precision, and hopefully some of these banding artifacts should diminish. Yeah, not really, because I think I baked some of this into 8 bits. Anyway, it's good to have it here in 16 bits, because especially if you have very soft blending or things like that, it's always better to work in 16-bit and then reduce back to 8-bit for the final export. So, right. So for exporting, I make sure that everything is just okay. Can't re-render to 16-bit. Actually, it should re-render to 16-bit. The only thing is, of course, is certain images. For example, here, this one I drew in 8-bit, so it won't increase the precision. This little icon here, this what is it actually? That's a sheet of paper with a square. This means I transformed this into a smart object, which means essentially it's non-destructive editing. So I took the layer as it appeared and then just said, okay, when I scale it down to 5% and scale it up from 5%, internally it retains the original resolution. Otherwise, of course, if you commit to it and scale it down to 5%, then in this case it would be even baked into 8-bit 5%, and then yeah, everything is gone. So essentially this should be updated to 16-bit, at least all the curves, operations and so on, and especially the blending operate in 16-bit now. The only downside is, of course, all the images came in 8-bit, and I did the denoising, which also helps sometimes to add some more what's the word? Yeah, gradients or in-between colors with 16-bit through the fact of denoising. So yeah, I mean, it's 16 bits now. Usually this, again, is something that I usually start out with in 16-bit. So, okay, duplicate everything that I don't delete anything. And now I diminished it. I flattened it down, all the layers, to just one background layer. And now I switch it back to 8-bit. So everything should be at the highest definition only until I'm saving it. So, okay, this is version 2, and for this I call this version, actually it's version 3, 2026. And let's export here a PNG file. And I recently discovered, I'm pretty late to the party, the WebP format. This one here, I think this is from Google. On many pages nowadays, especially from certain CMS systems, they internally convert pretty much all the pictures to WebP format. Why? Because it compresses much better than PNG or JPEG. It offers lossy compression or lossless compression. And especially when you're doing web stuff with transparencies and that thing, it always has an alpha channel if you need it. So again, which is kind of cool. Also, the same thing goes for WebM, the movie format, where you can also have a alpha channel, which again is kind of cool if you want to have something where you change the background color with CSS, for example. So it's cool to have an alpha channel in the movie export. But again, this is just something. So I've saved this now as lossless WebP, and if you compare it, the lossless PNG, which is 4.64 megabytes, and the lossless WebP, which is 3.38 megabytes. So again, it's lossless, so it should be, all the colors should be pixel perfect, but this one is about 1/4 smaller than the PNG file, which again is kind of neat. And I'm going to save it also as a lossy JPEG. There we go. Because I want to update also the song cover. So, right. Let me say here, version 1 from, when was this? My first version was, oh, the image was taken here, date taken 23rd of March 2010. And I made this cover in 2013. So this is version 1 is from 2013, my god. Version 2 must be from last year. It's, yeah, from 2012, 25. And I need, because I saved over this, but I want to retain what I had. I need to roll this one file back. And this is one of the reasons why I'm still paying for my Dropbox is, so I work now in this file and I saved over it multiple times. So you see here modified, it was modified, yeah, just half an hour ago, until I realized probably I should save to a different file. And I can, here, the version history, I can get it back. So that you know what's happened is, so when I look into this, see, this was one of our in-between things before I took the picture of myself. But now I have here my file history on Dropbox. And so I can say here, okay, so this one was last changed here on September 23rd, 25. And everything else here was done today. So I want to roll back to this version, restore, yes. And that should have been it. So this was the last version that we had, and so this version here is now finished. And when I inspect how this one looks, it's still the old one, so the version 2 that I want. So good, and this is the new version. Yeah, you know what, see here, in even as small images, this looks pretty cool, this looks pretty neat. And I'm happy with that. So one other thing is sources. So all the things that I downloaded here that I used. This one I didn't use, this one I didn't use, but the smoke I used. And I used here the fill pictures, specifically this one. So I'm just copying it over here. So again, should I need to, that I have all the source images. Right, and now it's just updating every place where I used this image. And this one has been used on the website, as you can see, but I also used it on the Bandcamp website and even in the files, in the MP3 files themselves, or the FLAC files as I have them. So, which means now this is the downside when you add new cover art. You have to go into all the original things where you used it and replace them. So, it was from 2012, not 2020. And here we have, this is the FLAC file, and in this audio file there is this cover baked in, and I want to change this. But it's not just on this location. Let's bring it up here. But I also use it here in the catalog that I upload to the website, to the Seth Carissa website, which means it's here in the Faircamp catalog, in catalog, Seth Carissa and Ferrum Fletus. It is here. There's also the FLAC file. So I'm also taking this here. By the way, this program here, that is MP3 tag. This is for, tagging MP3s. But not just MP3s, but also FLAC files and OGG files and pretty much any audio file that you have. Oh, posture check. Thank you, Kersey. Very, very, very nice of you. So, and in here, as you probably could guess, with a software that's called MP3 tag, you can change the tags. And also here is the cover artwork there. So this one is 758 kilobytes. And the one that we created, there's still this. The one that we created here, the JPEG, is 2 megabytes. So how can I get the JPEG there smaller? I just moved it here to desktop and renamed it cover because this is my workflow. I have here a tool that is called the JPEG Mini Pro. And you have an old version because I don't want to pay like 70 or 60 bucks or something to be able to crunch my JPEGs even further. So I say skip this version every time. So, and what it does is it crunches down JPEGs. I think this one has been around, this tool, for 15 years or something. They just, essentially what happens is, instead of using one compression algorithm for the entire image, it buckets, or it splits up the image into different regions. For example, if something is very blurry in the background, it doesn't need to have the same JPEG algorithm as something that is highly detailed in the foreground. And this is how they do this savings. So to compare, the cover originally here is 2 megabytes. I put it here into JPEG Mini and it's done, and it is now 500 kilobytes. And visually it's for 500 kilobytes, because there is so much blur. You can see here, there you can see the JPEG artifacts, because it doesn't need to have a high resolution. For example, where here with all the fine details, it needs this resolution. But again, pretty neat. Like we saved like 3/4 in just this one click. So again, this is what I use JPEG Mini for, because again, with every image that you add, of course, to a music file, and you're more interested in the music, and you don't want to have like a 10 megabyte JPEG file in your music track. So this is why I always compress this down and edit here. And now we have here in all the audio files that I'm using, that I have this new cover. Cool. Then right here in the catalog that goes onto the website, there is also a cover image. I just replace it with this cover image. So this new cover is the new one, as it should be, and also the cover of the FLAC file is the new one. All right, we're almost there, So the next thing for this exchange is I go to Bandcamp. Hope I'm still logged into Bandcamp. Cheers, by the way. Yes, I am. And there we have the song in question. And here I need to upload a new file, because in the file, as we've seen, is also the image embedded. So this is why I'm going to replace this file with the one here on the desktop. And down here, there is also the cover art for what Bandcamp uses, and there I can also use this cover. Beautiful, beautiful. So it's uploaded here. The new track is uploaded, update, and on Bandcamp that should be it. Let's say view track. Yes, new cover artwork. When I click here on the overview, also new cover artwork. Neat! I like this. So the last thing is when you head over to sefcarissa.com, and here on my catalog, I also need to have this updated. So it's here. How do we do this? Well, first, like I said, Faircamp is this static website generator. So I changed it here already in this file here, where I'm still here in my catalog. So this release.eno, this is the metadata for this static website generator. Just in case you're curious, there where I can say, okay, this is the title, this is the permalink, this is the little blurb that it should display there on top, this is the release, the original release, and this is the cover file. I always call my files cover.jpg so that I don't have to change this every time. So, and to generate now here my static website, I already have prepared myself some batch files, and this here says just build catalog with Faircamp. The cool thing about Faircamp is if you give it a folder where it can store essentially a cache, it only, when you change something, it only of course updates what the changed things were and not doesn't build the entire site at once, because sometimes, especially if you have lots of tracks, this can take like 10 minutes or something, because for every track it needs to create like 3 different streaming versions, and then it zips for a download and so on and so forth. And of course, if you can save on this, as I run it here, it will only have here the Ferrum Fletus, add, import the new cover, and here it does the new streams, and where it says here remove the cache, and essentially here it gives me, this is still, by the way, this is still local, so this is running a local web server that is just showing me the website. And here in this website, yes, we have here the new cover. I click it, that's the new song, and it's still the correct song. Cool. So all I need to do is upload this to my web server, and then we're done with this one cover. Didn't this go swiftly and easily? So this is the FTP upload to my server, and there I take down this, where was it, Fletum Ferus, and update the entire folder anew. Shouldn't take too long. Good. So now when we head over to sefcarissa.com, so this is sefcarissa.com with the old logo there. So I reload the page, and yes, new logo there, and reload the page. Yes, also here. Good. Okay, so finally this was it. And when you download the file, it goes, it redirects you over to Bandcamp, where you can download it, and also here on Bandcamp, the new cover is there. Easy, right? That was simple. That was also, oh, it's still playing in the background. I'm sorry for any audio mix problems that might have arisen. And this was just one cover artwork that already existed. So yeah, you can probably guess how long it takes for me to make these sorts of covers. So one last cover that I want to tackle today, that should be a little bit faster, because I already have an idea what I want, and this is the Al-Hazred cover. So the idea is that the head stays where it is, and only here in the background that maybe we get here this square cut out. This should be relatively quickly, like I said, because I did this last week. And I still have it around somewhere if I can find it. So this was from 23, and I have here the new version. And again, I already have here the individual elements separated. Also here this profile. So right, so what I want is, like I said, I want to have here a square that's here in the background, and I already have here, I just noticed, already have here a path in the center that of course I don't need, and it's gone. And the other path I want, of course, to be centered. Because I like when things are very tidy. Cool, so that was that. And now I just need to insert there something here in the background. That's not what I wanted. What went wrong here? Yeah, probably I should take an image or find an image that I want to put in the background. So let's head over back to Unsplash and find some texture of something. What makes sense for someone going mad as a background texture? Probably something, yeah, you know what, maybe these paint strokes here. Let's just see and yeah, see and find out. So pasting these here, and I'm not seeing it, probably because it's on blending multiply and this is normal and not multiplied. That's the thing. Okay. Or maybe I need to cut out this person. Which should not be too hard. So essentially this is almost already a mask, a matte. So I can just copy everything here and create here a new layer mask and paste this as black and white and then just massage here the levels. Like so. That it's really just the foreground is in this case black and the background is white. So for example here this reflection here of his eye, let's so I just swapped it so that everything that is in the foreground should be white, everything in the background should be black, or everything that is transparent, that's rather it should be black. Vonox says, I remember this song from Aludum. I think he used it during a time lapse. The one current must have been Headroom. Yes, the one currently playing is Headroom. Yes, and the one before it, I mean, there's a good chance that I used it there. I don't know it off the top of my head because I've made so many songs. But thank you for remembering. Yes, indeed. Indeed. So this is also why I have in the lower corner there of my streams, probably on the other end, where it says now playing, so that in case anyone is curious what a certain song is called, and if you want this song somehow, I can find out which one it is, or you know what it's called, and then you can tell me, and I can find it much easier. So this is the idea of having this. But thank you for remembering. This is nice. So I used here this original image, and now I can add just any background that I want. Let's just say here new fill there and just put any color there, so that we can check how this cutout worked. And you know what? It's kind of good. We have some what's called pre-multiplication errors. This is because here the reason for this being is here in the original image, when I disable here the layer mask, the black here mixes with white, and of course at the edges it's some sort of some variation of gray. And the thing here in the layer mask, the same thing is happening. So and this is why we get here this white on actually where this outline looks wrong. So what I can do against this is I just use black and paint over this on a new layer. See, and now there is no multiplication problems going on. There aren't any. Of course, the downside is there are certain things like here where the skin is involved, where maybe there is some sort of reflection that you actually want to keep and not make fully black. So yeah, it's a fine line, literally, of how you want to proceed. But let's make here a softer brush that I can just get rid of this very harsh white line. And just soften it a little bit that it works better against a dark background. Especially here with the hair, you can see it where it's not working. Yeah, Wonox says, it literally says Headroom there. Good, because then yes, I can I'm 100% certain that yes, this was from Headroom then. So yeah, I'm doing these pre-multiplication errors. Again, I'm just painting black over anything. So if there is any slight color or slight reflection underneath that, again here with the neck or so, that needs special consideration. So this is not this one size fits all solution to it. But I don't think I'm using this part here anyway. But this one here. So when I disable now here the layer mask, wrong button, you can see what's happening. So I just painted black over it, and because now these certain sections aren't mixing with the white of the actual original background anymore as much as it is here in this case, now the layer mask works much better. So if I turn this off, you see here what is going on here with these fringes. So I can now get rid of the color matte, save this, and now I don't need to multiply this, because now this I can put essentially any background here that I want. Which is exactly what I want. I want to use a different background here. So, what kind of background? Right, glad you asked. No idea. Something that is brighter. And why can I... Okay, so because I'm multiplying here this layer. This is why everything here is getting darker. So maybe I need to put it somewhere else. Or have a cutout here at least. Yeah, this is a classic Boolean logic puzzle. Is what needs a mask as well, so that here underneath my new layer or whatever I want to show is showing. And then it's just, again, it's back to curves. Making things, again, legible, that you understand that this is there's a square in the background. And again, I'm always confirming here that whatever I change is actually, it's still the shape carries across. Maybe it's a bit too bright here, this white square. But what if I invert it? Let's try. Doesn't change a lot, because I probably also need to invert this shape here. Yes. So, and I want to make it very dark, perhaps. And now it doesn't work anymore, because now here the silhouette of a face, you don't recognize here that it's a face. Anyway, just it was worth a try. So here in the small thumbnail image, it looks good. By the way, if you're curious what this eye actually is, that's pretty cool, because a wrong layer, this one I think it was, it's here, it's a volcano from top, which I find very cool. So, and you know what, with that I think we have our version 2 ready. And can do the same thing again as we did before. Oh, one thing that I just noticed is where I said we probably won't see what's here below the neck anyway. Again, this neck now looks halfway transparent, which I think it is. Or at least it comes off as such. So I think I will paint over it here with black as well. Or probably not, you know what, because here, this is what's where the actual problem is happening. Because this mask here, because it's dark gray, it's actually is transparent. So to make this not transparent then, I just select here this part and only selectively here work with the levels and just cut off everything that's below a certain grayness. There we go. And now this should have been it. Cheers, by the way. Let's see. Oh, wrong button. Let's see, when I paint something underneath, yeah, it's not transparent anymore. It's not transparent. So good. Good. Thanks, Phil, for checking. You're welcome, Phil. So save, duplicate. And again, it's the same thing that we just did before. It's this book or housekeeping of it. So I duplicated it. It's 16-bit. I merge it down to 8-bit. And going to save it there as a WebP just in case that I need it. Lossless. I'm going to save it as a JPEG, which I'm definitely going to need. And again as PNG file, highest quality, which again just to be backwards compatible if I need it for something. And close. Close this one as well, and yes. Do I have it on Bandcamp? That's the first question. I don't think that I do, but let's better check. Or I say download. No, it's not on Bandcamp, so at least we can save ourselves that hassle. But it's here somewhere in my catalog. 22, 23, 23 apparently. YNOC says, been having to watch the VODs due to time zone / work. Thank you for streaming as always. Again, thank you YNOC for dropping by, and I'm always very humbled that people actually do watch the VODs. And if you can, please watch the VOD on YouTube when it comes out, because as always, once the stream is done and after I had a little break, I edit it, which means I make the audio nicer. So I try to take out any of the smacking or any other weird noises that I might be making with my mouse or mouth, or when I'm playing like two music tracks on top of each other, I fix this in post. So yeah, this is your service. Tweet is, yeah, please watch the VODs over on YouTube. Also, they don't go after 2 weeks. Right, let's again do the same thing as before. Let's bring up MP3 tag and find the song in the catalog. And add it as well to MP3 tag. Then of course make here this cover version, compress it with JPEG Mini again. So before it was how large? No, that's the wrong cover. Can you please update the cover? 2 megabytes. Apparently I deleted. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. That explains it. So 2023. There we go. Yes, there we go. That's better. Cover. So before it has 3.18 megabytes, after it has 866 kilobytes. Again, quite a saving. So I don't need this. That's on Filmotion or something like that. Exactly. It's you know what? I can even drop you the channel link for your convenience. And this is also good for the new website there on Pixel Prophecy, where it says here watch, and there you can find the link to the Filmotion video channel, where it's also explained that the Filmotion video channel is where the archived streams from the Twitch channel end up. See, this is I'm doing this for you. No, actually, I'm doing it mostly for myself, that I have everything in one place now, finally, because again, it's been a hassle to keep track of all my digital footprints, and if I have one place to link from which I link to everything, it's much easier for me as well. All right, so we have here the cover, which means then we can replace the old cover with the new one. Is this the new one? No, it's not the new one. I used here version 1, but we made the one here with a square in the back. So that is version 2. Let's do this again. A third time. Still pay more attention. JPEG Mini. So before it was, how large? 3.14 megabytes, 3.14. Now it's still almost a meg. That's quite big for a small JPEG. Okay, good. It's updated here. Then I need to update the cover. I can even use a nice looking cover. I mean, they're all nice looking. I just mean the one before I crunched it down. Rebuild the catalog on Faircamp. Transcoding, there we go. Okay, locally it's looking good. FTP, Al-Hazred, delete, update. And when I see this absolute beaut, I will start watching those there. Thank you so much. Because they also have timestamps usually when I get around to doing these, so it's easier to jump between different topics and so on. So you're welcome. So let's check back here on the live side, that is sefcarissa.com, and update, and yes, nice background. Also here, I'll reload, background good. That looks much more coherent. So the last one here is Skyrmion Storm. And I still got like 20 minutes, and this, you know what, since we're here, that's the last one that I'm going to do. I really like this cover, by the way. It captures the energy of the song. Okay, YNC, gotta run to work. Thank you again, and thank you again, and I hope you have a good work day and that you're not getting stressed out or anything, and still find energy and time for your own projects afterwards. Bye bye, YNC. Thank you so much. And when you're watching this on the WOD, hi YNC, glad to have you back from work. I hope it wasn't too taxing. Okay, so which shape do we want to use here for Skyrmion Storm? Because it's very abstract in a sense. And I mean, we have an awful lot here of circles and these pointy squares. So maybe it would be time again here for Skyrmion Storm to have here the upside down triangle, like we have here with Cherenkov effect. Because I feel it's kind of, well, it's not similar, but it might be related energy-wise of the song. So let's do this. And because I want to be super consistent, I want the exact same shape from this file there. So let's do this then. Since I got everything there, it should not be a problem to find this one. So Skyrmion Storm, this was 2020, I think. Yes, there we go. Okay, this was version 1, Mid-Journey. See this sloppy crap that it had before. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look too good. So this is why when I used it there, I slapped on top this high energy thing, and then in the end came up with this one. So essentially just took out the entire LLM thing. And this was the very first version of this was already this cover here. So again, it's kind of cool how this progressed there from version 1. Or actually this was version 2 with Midjourney. The version 1 was the black and white one. Then we had version 3, which is just this colored thing here. And now we're doing version 4. So the interesting thing is there is no Photoshop file of this. This is as is, I think. I mean, I can dive into the archives and see if I can. Let's do this on a different screen then. I can have a look into my archive and see if I can dig it up. So authenticate, Skyrmion storm cover. There we go. Ha! Still got it. Still got it. And you know what? I will paste it here so that I got it. Oh, okay. Look, interesting. At some point, I just thought I flip it. Okay, very cool here. And there you can see different bolts of lightning and so on. I overlaid on top of each other. Cool. So this is how it looks when it's not in black and white. So it looks like a 1990s rave music CD cover. Also here, this lightning is very low quality. Was this always that bad? Why is this such crap? Has this always been like this? I'm a little bit concerned now. So this was, what did I say, 2020. Skyrmion storm. So let's look at this, and yes, look at those big bloppy JPEG artifacts. You know what? This is ugly. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this. The problem is I have no idea where I have this lightning from. So it's this one here. And yeah, it looks like I upscaled this pretty horribly. So what can I do in this regard? And the thing is, I can scale it down again to a somewhat, to a resolution where it's not that bad. Or you know what? I mean, it looks like it's cut off, right? So let's see if I can straighten it out again, like this, and then use reverse image search. And see if I can find the original of this file again. And oh yes, to be able to find this, I need to fill here the gaps so that a Google image search has an easier time. And to fill here the gaps, you know what? I'm going to use generative fill. That is Adobe's AI to just synthesize what could be there. Yes, I'm really doing this right now. And it's not that because I want to use it, this is to reverse engineer it so that I can search for the original image. And yeah, it's not really helping because there is this big white thing here on the bottom, which of course is not part of the image, but Adobe's Firefly thing thinks it's part of the image. Christ. So let me crop this down. Oh yeah, and this is also part of the original image. And I'm curious to see, was the original image something like this, or probably like this? This makes sense that the original Flash photo looked like this. Oh god. So yeah, or no? I don't know how I rotated this. What have I done? I think, okay, my guess is that probably the original photo must have looked like this, or either like this, but probably that, you know what, I will go with it looked like this. And instead of using Adobe's AI or something there for the background, I just painted there myself. Just something that I would think it looks something like this. Because again, it's just for a search. It's just for a search. I'm not using this, I hope. Unless, of course, I can't find it here in the search. So, and now with that guidance, let's try and this Adobe AI thing again to fill in, hopefully fill in the blanks there. For reverse image search. Why, Phil, didn't you keep anything there in your Photoshop project? See, this was before I was using Unsplash. So again, it's still keeping here these white fringes. I don't know why, but yeah, I can work with this. So I hope. Yeah, so I'm just painting over this, and now I'm using this here for my Google image search, because apparently I'm very keen on how this bolt of lightning looks. All right, let's hope that the original photo looked something like that. Make a screenshot and find my browser. There it is. So let's search for this, and I mean, we find all sorts of lightning images. Is it that one? This one looks kinda similar. Fine Art America. Could this be it? No. No, it's not, but it's very similar. But I'm hell-bent on finding the original lightning. They all look kind of the same. Huh. Thank you, unnecessary AI search, by the way, that this image depicts a powerful branched electrical discharge in the sky. Yeah, no shit there. Or did I get this image from Unsplash? I mean, let's try lightning. But because the quality was this shoddy, I don't think that I got it there. Or from there. Okay, so plan B. Plan B is... I cannot find the original image of this, but what I can do is... take... I mean, here it doesn't look like it's cropped in or something, right? Because no layers are selected. What? Yeah, this doesn't look like it's cropped in. Okay, good. So I still have here. This only happened. Yeah, this makes it much easier. I didn't realize this. So maybe Google image search can help us after all. I'm just orienting it how it should appear, and then okay, second attempt. You know what, actually this didn't look that differently, right, when you see here, so I wasn't completely off the mark there. So Google search by image, exact matches, there we go. Okay, this is what Google terms exact matches, and they aren't exact from what I can tell here already. No, this one. This is from 2026, this cannot be. Yes, I'm really reverse engineering what I searched for. Let's go here with visual matches. Maybe there we find something. So again, this is the reference, and this is what we're looking at. what the lightning that I want to find. And yes, I really want this lightning bolt. This specifically, this one. Yeah, if I can't find it within the next half minute, I will go with plan B. Yeah, doesn't look like I can find it. And when I look for lightning, I mean, this is probably how I searched for it in the first place. So maybe Google Images at some point serves me the same image again, but it probably would have already if I went for the visual matches search, because if it has this lightning strike somewhere, then probably, I mean, it would be a very good match with or to itself. Okay, so plan B it is then. I cannot find it. I cannot find it, and the one that I got is in bad resolution. But I can maybe increase the resolution of this, but first I need to scale it down to the original resolution. So how can we find out the original resolution of this JPEG? Apparently that was scaled at some point. Glad you asked, because with JPEG images, all these kinds of artifacts, I think they're called macro blocking. And let's crop this down. Image, crop, no, not crop, trim to transparent pixels. So it's, I didn't rotate it correctly 100%, but yeah, close enough. So I'm just cutting off here the slack at the sides. Just scaling it slightly up. There we go. Okay, resizing a JPEG image or finding out the original size of a JPEG image. So all these kinds here, these funky pixels around here, this lightning bolt, you can see here they are in a somewhat in a pattern, in a blocky shape. And as far as I can tell, all these blocks are 8 by 8 pixels in size. So when I create here some curves and increase here the contrast, these blocks are coming out. So if I make here this, apparently I even squashed or stretched it. So what should be 8 by 8 pixels is now 30 by 33 pixels roughly. Maybe I can find here a better specimen. But usually this is how I figure out how or if a JPEG was scaled before using. The other problem that we have here is you can see here these blocks. They don't look like they are of a single individual color if I increase here the contrast again, but it looks like they have some little darker edges and so on. And also here the other artifacts. This comes due to some sharpening, and it's not the bilinear sharpening. This is usually the bicubic sharper. This is Adobe's standard algorithm for scaling, also in Premiere, which again is a nightmare when you want to color grade something and sharpening has already been applied to bad footage. Anyway, cheers. And now I just need to, okay, so this one is roughly 30 by 30 pixels and I need to get it down to 1. So let's say it's 32 by 32 pixels, that should be 8 pixels. So that means if I divide this by 4 and am using here as my resampling algorithm, I'm not using any sharpening or so. I want to just keep bilinear so that I'm not increasing these artifacts. So when I zoom out, I can find here my picture again. There we go. And when I zoom in again at these blocks, and now they are 8 by 8 pixels. So this one block here, I'm not sure if you can actually see it there on stream, but maybe this one here. This one is now 8 by 8 pixels. So this appears to be the original resolution of this lightning bolt, which I just, yeah, increased severely. Okay, so how can I increase the resolution or make it appear better than it already is? Why did I scale it down smaller? Because when you want to do some high quality upscaling, First, it's always good to have something back in its original resolution or close to the source again. And this is as close as I can get to the source. But again, have here all these artifacts and so on. But it's at least in the correct size. So I'm going to save it out now as a PNG file. And the next step is I'm going to use AI to upscale this. Because again, when I say here in this image upscaling AI, I'm using Topaz Gigapixel for this. When I say, hey, this one is an image that has strong JPEG artifacts, Topaz will go, oh, JPEG artifacts, you mean 8x8 blocks, sized 8x8 pixels blocks. Then it has much better time when I want to upscale it. So yeah, let's say here, let's upscale this like 4 times. And we use here a low res image, and we say here, yeah, fix the compression. And you can already see here that it's doing something, but since, yeah, it tries to add here detail to the actual JPEG artifact. So this is not what I want, actually. So I try with a different model then. Let's go with standard. Was this it? Fix the compression. So all these fuzziness around the bolts of lightning here, the individual tendrils, those are just JPEG artifacts. And also here it retains here this JPEG artifact. I don't like this at all. So let's see. Usually the low res for images with visible pixelation, this should have been it. When I crank up the fixed compression, it should be it, but no, that's not cutting it. So I'm using a different tool, and I'm not using a Topaz Gigapixel, but I'm using Topaz Photo AI, which has a slightly different set of algorithms and models that I can use. So this is, in case you're wondering, where is Pixel Prophecy? Where does he use AI? And for me, it's always this upscaling and image interpolation and so on. Because this is less generative and more transformative. Well, not even transformative, it's closer to the original. So okay, let's see what we can say. First, I can switch on here this autopilot, which does a crappy job. Yeah, so instead, oh, it's downloading models. Do not close Topaz, please. Does this help? No, it does not. Okay, so what we want is choose something else. So what do we want? Start here, dust and scratch, remove denoise. Let's try with denoising first. Maybe this helps. Denoise max. Yeah, this is the reason why I got a beefy graphics card. Again, apologies if the stream starts to be choppy again. So that I can run it locally here on my computer and don't have to pay Topaz to process it in the cloud. Yeah, I can hear the fan of my graphics card now. So if this takes too long, I will try a different approach. But oh man, this sucks. Maybe, you know what? Maybe if I pre-process this again there in Photoshop, because again here all these JPEG artifacts, this is really what's the problem here. So if did I actually reduce this by 3? Did I save the correct one? Let's check, because if not, then this makes sense that it has a hard time getting rid of the artifacts. Lightning source. Did I use this? I don't think I used this. That I think is the problem. But I mean, for that, it's, you know what, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So I will keep this one. But I think, yeah, this exactly happened what I said, that the JPEG artifacts weren't 8x8 pixels. So export image. Yeah, that was the problem, why it didn't work. Because I used this image here, which already has here these blocks at 30 pixels. But instead I should have used this one here. And let's, you know what, let's see how well this behaves when I use this actual image here. And when I say, hey, autopilot, and it does by default a much better job. It's not a good job, but at least it's better. So, and for that, I will go back and use, again, gigapixel AI like intended here in the first place. So yes, 4 times upscaling, and yes, it's much better now. It loses, as you can see here, it loses some of the definition. So maybe I can find here, when I say here fix compression and turn it a little bit further down. Yes, again, because it expects the JPEG artifacts to be the size they are, we get a much better result than before. So let's try here with gamma correction. Maybe this helps. What I want to keep is, of course, the continuity of the bolts and not have them like here where it's this weird cutoff that's happening. So I'm just playing around here with this model and see if I can get it somewhat better. If I say here fix compression, but I don't think that this one here with low resolution is really cutting it that well. So let's go instead with just a standard model and see if that fares any better. Yeah, it doesn't quite look like it would be. No, we still get here this grainy, crumbly image. Text and shapes, perhaps. Usually this makes it much cleaner. And yes, we're slightly cleaner, but still it feels like now the fine lines of these bolts, they just get blurry and not finer, which actually is what we want. Art and CG, usually the worst algorithm always, and yeah, it's clearly that it doesn't know what it's doing. But like I said, here with the photo AI, somehow we got this slightly better. So I'm using the already upscaled image from the photo AI. I'm using it here in the gigapixel AI. God, what am I doing? Just because I'm so dead set on using this photo of the lightning. So I'm going to just feed it itself, more essentially. So I'm using here the standard model. Noise sharpen. No. I can say here recover. And by recover, this is some sort of half generative model. So essentially where it tries to figure out where detail was lost and then just synthesizes this detail. So again, it's not so good for reconstruction of images. It's more like, okay, I don't care, just give me some sort of plausible texture in there. But it's not, again, I wouldn't use this for, I don't know, some scientific reconstruction. More pixels, yes, perfect. Thank you, Kersey, for still being a part of this stream. Again, I wanted to be done by like 6 minutes ago, and here we are just trying out AI. And this is AI in my daily business. It's just, yeah, waiting and hoping that rolling the dice this time worked. And also it heats up here, this room. So I can only do AI in the evenings because otherwise I can't cool. So we're almost there. It says finishing up. Cheers, by the way, I'm finishing my tea. And then whatever the result will be, we'll just take it and finish this image and then finish with the stream. Again, because I think Connie wants to go to bed and I'm already over my time. So once this has been recovered, by the way, do you also do this to use your mouse pointer as some sort of indicator, a mark where a certain progress bar was, so that you can know, okay, it did move? I think I've been doing this since the 90s. So processing complete, and this is before and after. So this synthesizing there of detail, I mean, it got a little bit more noise in there, and it made here these little lightning tendrils a little bit finer still. But yeah, it just looks a little bit sharper. You know what? I will use this whatever. So essentially what I did was, I mean, also look at this file name here. It's just immense. So this was the source image, essentially the size of the source image, and this was like 300 something pixels, 800 by 511, and we've upscaled this now to 3000 by 2000 pixels. So also the color changed, beats me, but that is the other problem that I'm having with AI. Is yes, the color changes when they do upscaling or so, and especially if you're a colorist, and especially when you're working with brand colors, it's annoying. It's annoying when this happens. So this I can get rid of, and yeah, here this was the lightning. So let's plop in the new one and see if I can match it so that it looks still good. I still have to upscale it. That sucks. I thought I just cheated my way around not having to upscale it again. But here we go. So, you know what? It's kind of neat how close I got this. Almost. You know what? It's close enough. It's close enough. So when I zoom in, you can really see the difference here in image definition. So this is the new one, and this was the old one. So I mean, now it's of course it's adding its brightness on top of each other, but overall it's clear that this one has slightly better definition. So now I only need to match its brightness, and I think with that, if I can just constrict it to this layer, and I think with that we're done. What I just realized that I did not care about apparently the last time was that it's clearly cut off here where the image ends. So maybe I can just be very quick and do some very dirty paint over here. So that it just ends earlier here. It fizzles out and doesn't feel like, yeah, it's cut off in some capacity. Cool! Wasn't that easy and fun and simple? So, file. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to save this as Skyrmion Storm version 4 and add this triangle there from the Knockoff effect. And I hope I can just copy and paste this. Yep, I could paste it. Good. So, and what should be in this triangle? What should happen there? Good question. But you know what? I just realized that what I'm missing here is this. There was some sparkles on top in one of these things here, right? Where you can see these little blobs. I like how they looked, but I don't know where I lost them. Oh, I just disabled the layer with them. Okay, that explains it. there we go. Okay, good. All is there. Also, the lighting is of higher quality. Cool. So maybe I can just use one of these effects there. Just have here this triangle show up more clearly somehow. Again, I don't want to over spend my welcome here, so let's try the cheap way of just having this glow outside. And I'm not seeing anything now. But why? I have no idea. Probably because I'm only having here an adjustment layer. So layer, fill layer, solid color. Yeah, that's the reason why. So now this outer glow. Let's make it just as pronounced as necessary. But I mean, I said I wanted to keep the size the same, but maybe if it's slightly smaller, I could see more of it. You know what? I think I need to tinker with this a little bit longer, because I don't know. I don't want to rush things now and then end up with something that in 2 days from now I won't like, and then have to step in and do it all over again. So with that, I think I will call it a day. Just to quickly wrap up what we did today. For one thing is, let's open up. We made the Austrian dish Bauernkrapfen in 3D as a Gaussian splatted model. Let's open it up here. Just look at this tasty treat here. It worked and it looks great. So this was the easy part, and the other part was where we went in and looked at some of the old images there of my website and changed some things that look now much better, like we have here with Ferrum Fletus, and then we did here for Al-Hazred. So this one here with taking photos of myself under the light here. Thanks for being part of this. And yeah, just very quickly this shape in the back, in the back, yeah, of course. And again, I mean, now I cannot see this horribly low resolution lightning bolt here. So again, whatever it will be, it will probably look better than what we have. And yeah, probably at some point I will get to this. And with that, dear ladies, gentlemen, unicorns, I thank you for checking out this stream. So the next one is planned for a Sunday, and I hope, I mean, they're not like with last time where I fear that I might not make it. No, next week is pretty solid that I will make it. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. And yeah, tomorrow Connie and I will watch the Backrooms movie. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and hopefully there won't be too many jump scares, because I'm not a fan of jump scares, and I will probably throw my popcorn all over. So this is what I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I can tell you all about in the next stream. Alrighty then, Mr. Troy says, as always, thank you for streaming, and as always, thank you for partaking in this stream. Kirsty says, a nice chill art stream as usual. Thank you so much for finding my art streams chill and not just boring or overly, I don't know, overly detail oriented, but yeah, you know me. Yeah, that's me. That's me. So while the automated unicorn discreetly shreds a bunch of papers, and Kirsty says, enjoy the back rooms, bye. I will also bid you farewell. Have a wonderful week, and yeah, see you hopefully on Sunday. And until then, all the best with your projects, and I hope you have lots of creative fun. Bye bye.